doors open, kids find a safe space. Th3 gaming doc fights the grind each day. From the joystick low to the streets ballet. She's the voice that echoes the restless hum. Hardcore hero where the city drums. And dreams are bred. The city roars, but her wheels still roll. Streaming at night with a fierce heart soul. Th3 gaming doc fights the grind each day. From the joystick low to the streets ballet. She's the voice that echoes the restless hum. Hardcore hero where the city drums. Cheer when her streams go live. Green glow shining, she makes them thrive. Kids in the morning don't see her night. She hides battles fought by screens, strange light. Driving their futures down bustling streets, filling small lives with the simple beats. She carries their dreams while chasing her own. Walking roads never leave her alone. Cali where the sun went red, found a home where chaos and dreams are bred. The city roars, but her wheels still roll, streaming at night with her fierce heart soul. They laugh, they cheer when her streams go live. Green glow shining, she makes them thrive. Kids in the morning don't see her night. She hides battles fought by screens, strange light. Driving their futures down bustling streets, filling small lives with the simple beats. She carries their dreams while chasing her own. Winding roads never leave her alone.
Well, greetings gamers. This is Dr. Eileen, the Gaming Doc, and this is your place and your space to laugh, to chat, to chill, to hang out, to take a moment, to take a break, to take a breath, and put it all aside for an hour. Just 1 hour. Just 1 hour. And it is, and sometimes we do need just to back off from everything, push away from the desk, get up, go outside, touch some grass, hug a tree, take a walk. Because sometimes we do need to just step away, even if it's just for a little while. And I'm so glad you chose to join me today. However, we need to honor our first three across the gate. Our Olympic champions. Coming in for the gold is Fruity Leafs, my favorite foliage. Coming in for the silver, Stephen Kreis. And with the most adorable emojis ever, George Love. And coming in for the bronze, we've got our Dabber Gems. It is so wonderful. Fruity Leafs with the flying fish. Fire Nutter, Captain Firebeard, lurking Psyduck, my favorite Pokemon. Bladella 95, the queen of the scouts. And Loki Frost. Fist bump, high five for Loki. Love Loki. Watch the show. Awesome. And Sky Baby 2603, Grand Rising all. Well, Grand Rising to you too. And we've got Alex to the stars checking in from work. Happy Friday. Oh, happy Friday to everybody. And Red. Hello, 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 my dear. How are things? Kimmy Beans, who is off traveling and enjoying. Hello, hello. Screwgrass, I want the ocean. I hear you, my dear. I mean, that is the one thing that is really cool about living on an island is that one, surrounded by water, and no matter how lost I get, I always know eventually I will hit an edge. And one of my favorite things to do is to take the Staten Island ferry. And there's something about being out there with the breeze, and especially on a windy day, you get that, wisp of the water. And it reminded me of when I would get very stressed out, living in Cali near the beach. Well, near the coast. I was up on a mountain, so I had to drive down to get to the water, but it was so amazingly soothing. And figuring out what your place is. Your place might be a forest. Your place might be water, ocean, a lake, sitting next to a river, watching a waterfall. Your place may be, sitting in the middle of a desert. I mean, you don't have too many of those out here, but maybe it's sitting on a farm. Maybe it's just, and maybe possibly your place is a busy corner of the most urban environment you can find. Yeah, I had a friend who, he could never meditate. Like, if you put him in a quiet room, nothing happening. Even if you took him out to a forest, nothing. His meditation was to go to the busiest corner. He lived in San Francisco, and he would go to the busiest corner where there was honking and traffic and all kinds of stuff and people walking by and talking and all this other stuff. That was where he could meditate. He said it all became this white noise of humanity. And that was his thing. And that was his place. So finding what is your place? What is that one spot that, maybe it was a place you went on vacation, or maybe it was, just something you remember from your childhood. We all have that place. Maybe it's a playground. And listening to the sound of the swing going back and forth, preferably with you on it. Kimmy Bean's coming in with the southbound end of a northbound unicorn. It snowed again, like WTF. What? Do you have any advice? My GF broke up with me. Oh, sweetheart. Oh, Loki. We got you, Loki. We got you. Feel worn out, woke up feeling like, why try to watch that 4-hour anime YouTube vid when it's likely today, as far as I know, of mom will be making a lot of noise cleaning the house. Yeah, kind of the time. It's good to see you streaming so much. Yeah, getting back into, I miss daily streaming. And in fact, I'm looking at adding a Saturday evening stream. Been addicted to the show 911. Really? The kids still on vacay? Oh no, we finished up spring break, and now we just have another couple of months to make it, and then it's the end of the school year. Now's the power slide to the end of the school year. Enjoying the heck out of this place. I'll bet you are. Wait, do you live in New York? You're like a few hours away from me? I'm in Staten Island. Where? Oh my goodness. I mean, you're in a proximity, a few hours. Okay, by any chance, are you in Pennsylvania? Usually, whenever anybody talks about a couple of hours away, it's almost always Pennsylvania for some reason. I have to spread Apollo's ashes, but it's in the woods, and I'm worried about ticks. Oh, okay. Well, my dear, that is a very, very sensible thing because it is that season. Make sure that you're wearing, if you have like boots that you can tuck your pants legs down into, and there's a lot of creams that you can use. And what I would recommend, my dear, is if you can, dress in white. Because one, there's that spiritual piece of ceremony of wearing white. And two, if you should happen to pick up something, you will see it. Either that, or if you would like to do, I had a friend who, when she lost her pet, she got a special pot and she planted a plant in it, and she mixed the ashes in with the soil. And so the plant, she actually felt a connection with, her pet, with her cat. And I've known a lot of people who have done that with, and at least maybe some of the ashes. My cat's name is Apollo. Oh, sweetheart, yes, Apollo was a beautiful rat. Jada likes apple juice. See, I'm going to make sure I always get that right from now on. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, who was just seen just chatting, one of our new affiliates. Keep the snow away from me. You're near Pittsburgh. Oh my goodness, there is a it's funny because this morning, one of the kids who's a fifth grader said that they're going on their senior trip. And it's like, a fifth grader having a senior trip? But they do. And they're going to go see the Liberty Bell. And I have never seen that. I want to see that. It's a procedural drama about the relationships between fire, the police, and dispatch. Red, I have heard all kinds of good things about that. Loki, hang in there. Hold on. Let me get through the chat. We will take care of you. My co-worker's off today because she's out in the field. The only reason I could sneak onto the stream. Cool. Tape your pants legs shut. Yes. Or use double-sided tape. Sky Baby, that is an excellent idea. Using double-sided tape on the pants legs. Big brain! Sky Baby has big brain. I have a grave site for Athena and Diana. I want Apollo around there. Well, that sounds neat. But yeah, double-sided tape. Brilliant! All right, Loki, my dear Loki, first off, I am so sorry that you experienced a breakup. And I think there's a lot of folks here in the chat who can definitely identify with that. And you're all good. I'm at work, so I'm staying busy. Good. Recently read an article that Newfoundland researchers found lemongrass essential oil did positive results as a tick repellent. Fist bump, high five for the land of my birth, Newfoundland. Was very nervous and almost had a panic attack, but got through it and didn't fish. Sweetheart, you're fine. I had a great day in theater yesterday. I got told that I specifically did good. That is always wonderful when you hear about. Didn't they just release an episode that there was a meteor that hit the earth? Cool. Neat. Feel better. Aw, sorry. Yes. So, hands raised for anybody who has had to deal with a split up. And the thing is, often it's not so much the person that we're attached to. It is the story we attached to them. And, and even understanding that, it still sucks. It still hurts. We still go through a very appropriate and normal grieving process, because this is a loss you should grieve. Because, and we were talking about this yesterday, there comes points when either through our own actions and choices or the choices of others, the world we knew ceases to exist. It's not there anymore. And suddenly we find ourselves in the situation where we have to build a new one. And it can take a lot of work to build a world. And we build that world with the, with the things we're looking for. And yet it is without that thing that we had become accustomed to. Whether it's a person, whether it's a job, whether it's, a home situation, it could be almost anything. And being able to go, okay, what gifts did I receive from this? Because you gained gift in maturity and wisdom. You gained gifts in being able to accept that other people's choices don't always align with ours. It is a difficult thing because there's a part of us that wants to understand completely why something happened. And we want it clear. We want it concise. We want it to a place where we can understand it. But the thing is, there's a part of us that will never understand it. It just hurts. And I'm so sorry you're going through that hurt. And it does take time to integrate this experience into your life. And, and staying busy, which is, one of the things that, we can do. Although I have found, okay, every time, and I've lost a lot of family members, people close to me out of the 6 that were my immediate family, my parents, my 2 brothers, and my sister, there's only me and my younger brother now. When I went through my divorce, 2 weeks before my 20th wedding anniversary, I was told by the person I believed I would be with my entire life that he no longer loved me, that he loved someone else, and he no longer wanted to be with me. And honestly, I thought things were going okay. But apparently there was something he was going through. And I kept saying to him, there's something wrong. There's something you're not telling me. Please tell me. You can tell me anything. And finally, one day, he took me at my word. I was not expecting that. And it was tough. And, in situations, and I found all kinds of ways to stay busy. And what I did find was that my grief was tremendously patient. I kept myself busy to the point where I knew I was at least a good 3 or 4 strides ahead of my grief. And even when I thought I was outdistancing it, it was patient. It just kept walking along behind me because it knew something that I didn't want to accept, was that sooner or later I'd run out of steam. I'd run out of things to do. And it would very gently but deliberately catch up, put its hand on my shoulder, and say, well, here we are. And I couldn't outrun it. And it reaches that point where we do get tired. We can't keep juggling things. And in those quiet moments, it will find us. It is about being able to learn to release our attachment to, the way I put it when my divorce happened, was the most upsetting part was I felt I was denied the happily ever after that I believe I had earned. And when you're in a relationship with someone, it's hard not to look at that happily ever after and to think, I've done everything I could to be worthy of this, to have earned it. I deserve it. I have a right to it. Unfortunately, other people's desires, dreams, everything, we can't override what somebody else feels. And quite honestly, I don't think anyone at that time, I call him my husband now, and he's okay with that because he said it's better to be called a husband than an ex, because he was my husband. And I look back in that time and I wanted to understand. But the thing is, it would never totally make sense to me. And I reached the point where it's like, I'm okay with not having it make sense because it doesn't make sense. And the other person can explain till they're blue in the face. But the thing is, there will never be an explanation that we don't go, but. And then they get tired. Or maybe they don't even know what the full reason is. And asking someone who you had spent your whole adult life with. He and I knew each other when I was 6 and he was 7. We've known each other all our lives. And I wanted to know, how could the feelings just stop? And I really wanted an explanation for that. The thing is, he didn't know. He just knew that somewhere along the line something changed. I changed, and something inside of him changed. And that's the thing about growing and evolving. There's always that chance that something's going to change. And sweetie, it doesn't make it any better. And I would hazard to say that I'm fairly certain that even if it were explained, the explanation still wouldn't be enough, because the explanation wouldn't do the thing that we want it to do more than anything else, which is make the hurting stop. And I'm okay, just giving you a hard time. Yes. Let's see. Hold on. Sorry. I mean, if you watch the trailer, it's kind of RIP, I got an ad right when you started speaking. Well, are you back now? Let me know you're back now. I'm okay, just giving you a hard time. Do you have a moment to talk to our Lord and Savior, the giant flying spaghetti monster? There's also Bob the Cosmic Muffin. On top of that drained feeling of why bother, I've been having a headache just to make it all harder to deal with. Yes. The hardest part is it felt like it came out of nowhere. And I have alexithymia, which is a personality trait that involves difficulty recognizing, expressing, and describing emotion. Wow. But I knew with no doubt I loved her, and I still do. Yes, you do. Always. Thanks for the smile. Let's see. It's a real religion called Pastafarianism. Nice. Some college students made it so they could wear pots and pans on their heads for their driver's license photo. Nice. I've heard it's a fun religion. And yeah, and adoring. Yes. I'm back. Yes. Doc dropping truth bombs today. Cosmic Shade, my lovely little nebula, how are you? And and for those of you who have dealt with heartache, I don't think there's any one way that is kind of like the panacea for dealing with it, because heartbreak, it goes to a lot of different places, and the first place it goes is the right side of the brain, because it's the right side of the brain that creates stories. And that story might be, well, that person is, call them everything but, a child of the spaghetti god or whatever. Or it could be a story, I knew I was never enough. I knew it would end. I have to have done something wrong to make this happen. And oh, well, that's me. I always end up ruining. This is why we can't have nice things. We basically abandon the analytical part of our brain, even though, and the biggest irony to me was, while grieving that loss, was firmly nestled in the right side of my brain, because I went through all of it. It's like, and he basically said that I became more, and that made him feel like less. That I became a doctor, and a lot of my life was focused on that. I thought that I was making enough time, but apparently I wasn't, because I was busy trying to build a practice. And while he had told me he understood that, I think there was a part of him that didn't, because prior to that, he was the center of my life. Well, he got nudged a little bit when my sons were born. And I think there was a lot of different things that were at work. Him feeling he had to leave me in order to be able to be okay. I think that there was a lot of very hard self talk that was going on. And the fact that he left me for someone else. There's a lot of very difficult things that come up with that, because it's like, okay, let me name off all the things about myself that obviously I'm lacking and she has. And the thing is, I didn't know her. I didn't, I mean, in fact, he hadn't even met her. They met online. So the idea that, when we experience a breakup, and it could be a romantic breakup, it could be a breakup between friends, it could be, a breakup between, people we work with, those, work companions, and all of a sudden they're off on another project. Whatever it is, that person became someone close to us. That person became someone who was a part of our world, someone we felt safe with. And when you're involved in a romantic relationship, that's someone you feel safe with, someone you can be vulnerable with, someone you can be yourself with. And when we lose that, in a way, we feel, sometimes that we may not get that again. And if we do, how can we trust that it won't happen again? Which, I mean, the most direct answer to that is we can't. I mean, hands up for those who have had your heart broken more than once. And it is a weird kind of pain when someone actively chooses to walk away. Because, there is that thing, it has to be me. Sweetie, it ain't you. And that's for everybody. Speaking as someone who has definitely been there. It's not you. You are amazing. You are a delight. You are the most evolved you that exists. And by tomorrow, you'll even be more evolved. There's a saying that people are in our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. But the thing is, we never know what that's going to be. And to me, it felt like walking through the wreckage of a crash. I didn't want to be there. I did not want to go through the wreckage. But there was a little voice that said, you got to find the black box. You've got to find, which is actually orange, which I haven't figured that out yet. But it's the box that is hooked to all of the controls and everything in a plane. It is designed to withstand a crash, because once you find it, you can plug into it and it will tell you what went wrong, how it happened. Okay, off topic just slightly. If a black box, which is orange, is designed to withstand a crash, can't they just make the plane out of whatever they made the black box out of? That is a question I've had since I was a child. Well, why don't they just make the plane out of whatever they made the black box out of? Which I'm sure there's all kinds of reasons, and those of you who do engineering like, well, it's this and that and that and that, and aerodynamically sound. But when I was little, I always wondered, why don't they just make the whole plane out of that? which, in a way, I guess it sort of relates, because if we figure that in any given relationship, it's possible to have your heart broken, why don't we put that into the equation and into our thoughts? Like, well, the relationship made it another day. I don't know what will happen tomorrow. And I guess it is because maybe we all look for that happily ever after. My husband's family had 3 couples that were married over 80, 80, 79, 80 years. Married for over 80 years. That's not something you see a lot of now. And when I asked, it was one of the great aunts, and I asked her, how do you stay with someone for over 80 years? And she looked at me and she smiled, went like this, as if she was going to tell me a big secret. So I leaned in, because obviously she had the right answer. And she quietly whispered, "Only the first 75 are hard. After that, it's easy." Now, I don't often get an urge to shove an old woman. But it was like, that's not helpful. But I guess in her own way, it was. It's only the first 75 years that are tough. And I'd say most of us don't make it that far. And at the end of any relationship, there is a gift. There are things we learn, maybe things we learn that we take into the next relationship. Maybe we learn to have more compassion for ourselves. Maybe we learn to have compassion for the other person, especially if they were the one who were the first to say, this isn't going to make it. Because I know that that's a lot of pressure. And being able to resist the temptation to make it either all our fault or all their fault. It's all about, what each one brought to the table. It's about how each person changed. It's all about the fact that after 20 years, neither one of us were the same person. We had a conversation about maybe 10 years after we split up, after we divorced. And we both came to the conclusion that if we were to meet as total strangers that day, neither one of us would be interested in dating the other. Which we both thought of as kind of funny. And when we were drawn together, it was like this cosmic collision. I looked in his eyes at one point, and like I said, we knew each other since I was 6 and he was 7. And there was one moment, we were playing Dungeons and Dragons, that I looked into the eyes that I knew for a long time, most of my life. And there was something about that moment, something I saw in those eyes, something he saw in mine. And I knew in that moment, this is the man I'm going to marry. And he said he had a familiar feeling. And yet, a couple of decades later, it was time to say goodbye. I view it as a spiritual contract. and that we have a spiritual contract with everybody who's in our lives. And sometimes that contract is to make us absolutely crazy, aggravate us, push us, challenge us, leave us in tears, but we learn from it. We grow from it. Or maybe it's the person you love so much, but there's a time that it's complete. Whatever it was that we were meant to achieve together, which I do include my sons. And at some point, that contract was complete. Everything that we were meant to learn about ourselves, about each other, we did. And it was done. And it was weirdly numbing for a while. I just kind of felt numb. I couldn't honestly say that I started off sad or what or angry. I just felt numb, and it was weird because the first thing that came to my mind was the contract is complete. Whatever it was, whatever that last little bit that needed completion. And if we had tried to stay together, one or probably both of us would have been miserable, and it would have ended up going in the same place. I felt very strongly we had to end things before we grew to hate one another. And I didn't want that. So, it ended. Our contract was complete. And Loki, maybe your contract was complete. And, and we don't even know what was the thing that had it complete. Being able to move forward, knowing there are other contracts out there that could not begin until this one was closed. And I know I've said a lot of stuff, and I'm going to catch up with the chat, I promise. And my dear, sweet, beautiful, magical Loki, you're going to be all right. Life is fun till it isn't, and it sucks till it doesn't. This is a sucks till it doesn't part. But it will be fun again. You will know love again. I can honestly say I don't believe I will ever love exactly the same way as I did. And that's okay. Because that was that love. That was that story. When my sons were born, I realized I had no idea what love truly was until I looked into their faces for the first time. And I think there's something similar with that. In relationships that have run their course, a contract completed allows us an open contract. So, okay. Oh, also, what was it we used to call it? THBOD. THBOD. The hot beverage of the day is Stash Ginger. It's got green tea and matcha in it. It is a ginger peach. And actually, this is amazing. Oh my gosh. You want to take it up a little bit? Put a little bit of honey and some mint leaves in it. Hey, Ben Better spent a night in the hospital having blood transfusions. Cosmic Shade. I hope everything is better today. I truly believe that after a good life in heaven, people get to see you for you, and that all the miscommunications from life are made clear, and people can finally take into account your empathy and the reality of who you really were. Maybe we don't get back with our previous significant others, but at least they will understand our perspective, challenges, and efforts. Red, that is a very sweet way to look at the afterlife. I love that. Please put that in inspiring thoughts. And Mr. Harmless, hello, hello, hello. Friend breakups can be rough. Okay. To me, just this old lady, I almost think it's harder breaking up with a friend than breaking up with a romantic partner. because that friend was the one that you went to about the romantic partner. There's something about a friendship that I think goes deeper or has the potential to go deeper than a romantic relationship. It's almost like with a friend, that's the one who we let truly see us. And again, I feel that's subject to a spiritual contract. And I have had people who I was friends with for a very, very, very long time. And there reached a point where it was like, okay, we're done. And while I cherish the memories of everything that led up to it, it's like, we're done. It's time for those paths to diverge. You know, I've got bad news. Oh, I'm sorry. First, my friend said they don't want to be friends anymore, but it's fine. And you've got shingles, your dog has parvo, and your mask broke. Oh, sweetheart, good news is I'm on 3 of 35 parts of an Iron Man suit, and I've posted on Discord. Okay, you can't keep a good man down, Mr. Harmless. First off, you know, it's again, and you know, it's weird that this is that theme of spiritual contracts being complete, that this was the point, that you didn't do anything wrong, that this was the point when everything you were meant to learn from them and everything they were meant to learn from you is complete. And it hurts and it sucks and we grieve it. And there is something on the other side of the grief. But you go with that Iron Man one. I just want to scream my drained feelings off, but I know it just makes the headache worse. The only thing I've got right now so far I'm aware of in this moment is to cling to my plushies and listen to the doc's grounding voice. Oh, sweetheart. And you and that blanket, that fuzzy blanket you've got, my blood count was less than half of what it was meant to be. I was diagnosed with megaloblastic anemia. Okay, due to vitamin B12 and folic acid deficiency. So I'm currently on rest to the dizziness, but doing better after receiving the transfusions. Have to have a lot of B12 shots over the next few weeks. Okay, my dear, wonderful, lovely little Nebula. I am so glad that the cause was something that was based on a deficiency that can very, very, very easily be created. I mean, it's not fun having to get consistent B12 shots and folic acid, getting that built up. But I am glad that they were able to discover that. And it's going to be literally like night and day once they get those levels up. And knowing that there is the possibility of that, it allows you to become a lot more empowered about your health because nobody knows you, y'all, all of you. Nobody knows you better than you do. Not the best doctor in the world, not the closest friend in the world, not your family. No one will ever know you better than you do. And now that you can be able to go, okay, wait a minute, this feeling that I'm feeling, it feels familiar. Let me go and take a look at this. Am I not getting enough folic acid? Am I not getting enough B12? So, you know, and this could also be something, once they level it off, maybe it never happens again. Or maybe there's something in your system, and our bodies change over time, over age, that has reached a point where to it's not able to make the B12 and the folic acid that you take in, it's not as bioavailable, which means it does not break down and metabolize in your system. It may be that your body is releasing it for some reason. So by knowing that, oh, okay, there's the possibility for this deficiency, let me make sure I keep up with that. And, you know, and it's not just like regular supplements, finding the right supplement. And I know that working with your doctors, you'll be able to find that. Black box made out of thick steel, which is too heavy for a plane hull. Plus, crashing at speed is still going to unalive anyone inside of it because of inertia. Yeah, that be true. So even if you could make a plane crash proof, there's no point they'd favor lightweight materials for fuel efficiency. Reg, you are so big brained. Thank you for explaining it in a way that is very gentle to an old boomer brain. Gimme beans. Hubby just called CPS on our niece's behalf, and the worker was really happy to get the info we gave her, even if it isn't enough to make it better yet, but it seems to be a step in the right direction. My dear Kimmy, it was a heavy conversation for us. I'll bet. And the thing is that, it's being able to at least get moving in the right direction, because that's where it just magic happens, when we can turn our feet and start taking steps, even if they're baby steps. And I am so proud of you and your hubby, because it takes a lot of courage to do that. It takes a lot to get involved sometimes, and sometimes getting involved can be a really tough thing, because everything has consequences. And if after you look at all the consequences and you say, you know what, I understand that this is going to complicate certain things, but I know in my heart it's the right thing to do. I know it's the right direction. And honestly, sometimes the end of a relationship can be based on that. I know there are going to be really hard consequences. And in fact, I know I'm going to be viewed as the bad person. That was something that my husband was, he said the worst part for him was that he didn't want to be the bad guy. And he was very upset at the idea that other people would view him that way. Oddly enough, I was the one who spoke up for him with his family. And there were a lot of folks who were, because they adored me. Oh my God, they adored me so much. And we were the couple that, we were like that perfect couple. We never argued publicly. We always got along. We were always holding hands and laughing together. And at some point that wasn't enough. But from the outside, everybody viewed us, they said that we were going to be that, 80 plus year marriage. And when we very quietly announced that we were splitting up, like, wait, wait, what? And so, when things came out the way they did, and he got really called on it, he got blasted. And, and a lot of his family members contacted me, and I'm like, whoa, time out. I said, first off, I do not hate him. I said, you can feel what you want about him, but if you're going to hate him on my behalf, don't, because I don't. I would not want to see him in pain. He needs you. He needs his family around him now more than ever. Our sons need their family around them. And with regards to the woman who he ended up marrying, the woman he left me for, we're never gonna speak to her, we're never gonna accept her, we're never gonna hate her. And while ultimately they loved me at the beginning, not so much, for a variety of reasons. And so I told them, you don't have to you can like her or dislike her, but you need to give her the respect that is due his wife. She's the one he chose. And at the very least, give her the respect that entitles her to. Oddly enough, she and I ended up becoming very good friends. And in a very weird way. There was a TV show called Reba, and it was like Reba McEntire, and her husband left her for another woman, and her and the other woman ended up becoming really close friends. And everybody said, oh my God, it's just like Reba. Something difficult is the day before and even the hour before we were talking about how much we loved each other, and then it flipped. Loki, I hear you. I absolutely hear you. I'm grieving the loss of a friendship currently. An ex-friend of mine lost me and other friends due to her choices and husband. Choices make an impact. Choices, you know, every single choice we make has consequences. And that's something that I'm really working to help the children on my school bus understand. Your actions have consequences. Well, what's a consequence? I said, consequence is the thing that happened because you decided to do something. And it's not always fun. And if we decide to do something, I said, you know, when you decide to act out on the bus and throw things out the window, you understand that that will get you into trouble, right? Yeah. I said, so when you do it, you're choosing to get into trouble, right? Yeah. I said, and when you choose that, you cannot say it's not fair. Well, but it's not fair. I said, did you choose it? Well, yeah, but I was, you know, they were either upset, they were frustrated, they were kidding around. I said, well, I understand that. But you made an action. You chose to make an action. And this is what happens when you choose. I am not allowed to tell them that, you know, F around and find out because I'm not allowed to curse in front of them. But yeah, you know, it's every choice has a consequence. And when we decide that considering the consequences, we're still going to do something, even though we know it's going to create a lot of problems in our lives. And I think people do that for a lot of different reasons. I had a thought, you'd ever thought to make up a dinner speak term to name your favorite foods? For example, egg toast sandwiches could be two dried walls and twins of the unborn. Oh my gosh. Or what was it? It used to be, it's funny you bring that up, Fire Nutter, because it used to be when you went to a diner back like in the 60s, it's like they had nicknames for all the foods, like for when the waitress would get an order. And, you know, they would say it to the chef. There'd be like a shorthand kind of code that they would use. And, you know, my favorite was eggs over easy on toast. And the waitress, you know, she looked back towards the kitchen and she goes, Adam and Eve on a raft. And then, you know, one person said, oh, I'd like it scrambled. She goes, wreck 'em. So yes, there are, you know, little things like that. I did my good deed for today just now. Gave away my old graphics card on Craigslist. Gave it away. Oh, Red, that is so sweet of you. Helping somebody else come up. She's self-harming. We can't sit idly by. Exactly. You know, and the thing is, at this point, it can be helped. If you had, you know, it's like, well, we'll wait and see, we'll wait and see, we'll wait and see. You know, waiting for the time to be right. No, the time, it's not that the time is right. The time is right now. And especially if there's a case like that. And, you know, and it means that there's an investigation. It means that they look at the situation and figure out what's going on. And that, you know, because that sort of thing only escalates. I enjoyed it. Yeah, a single mom who works hard, dude. Reba was great. Yes. I'm heading out. I hope you have a great day. Sky Baby, thank you so much. Thank you for all that you brought in today, and we look forward to seeing you again. It's so nice. And we're almost done with our hour for today. It felt really weird, and it still feels weird to only stream for an hour. And then I told myself, it's like, is it better to stream for an hour or to not stream at all? And I prefer to stream. And, you know, I'm looking at figuring out a way, because it's like last night, oh my God, taking the bus home. Okay, I got out at 6 o'clock because, you know, I get back to the yard at 5 o'clock, and then I have to finish up my cleaning and take out all the trash because I'm the janitor. And you got a full session on the weekend, you know, thinking about it. I still have some stuff to do with the lock-in this evening. I've almost got things wrapped up, but I have to make sure all things are in my car before. Oh, yes, making sure everything's in the car. I'm heading off, Doc. Need to lie down again. Hope you have a fantastic day. Cosmic Shade, my lovely nebula. Bleh. Englishing, my lovely nebula. Please rest and keep us posted, okay? So I have a rehearsal that's going to go a little bit long tomorrow. But, and I am thinking, and I know this is like, I am thinking of doing a subscriber only chat. Now, before you freak out, well, I'm not a subscriber, I can't afford to be a subscriber. That's okay. I do want to do something to acknowledge those who do subscribe. And I will not take away any streams from anybody. I will figure out a way to have more streams. It's like last night, I left work at 6 o'clock to go catch the bus. 2 buses that didn't show up. I ended up not getting home until 8:30, and my bedtime is 7:30. And I still had to wake up at dark 30 this morning. But I am going to figure out how to do more streams. I'll probably be doing a Saturday stream or maybe a Saturday evening stream. And I've got to watch it because, it's like figuring out where everybody is and what the best time thing is. I'm going to be doing a bunch of clipping. I'm going through a bunch of my old stuff. I'm clipping things. And so I'm putting clips on Instagram and on TikTok. So I've got a bunch of that to do. Or maybe Sunday I'll extend the stream on Sunday. Let's see, heading off to everyone have a good weekend. Please be safe. Look out for yourselves. Exactly. Alex, take care. And so I'm figuring that out. I am going to be streaming more. It's just a matter of figuring out how I'm going to manage it with the time I have. I also think my supervisors are wanting me to come to an event this summer to do, oh, goodness, burps, to do some trainings. You go. Oh, my gosh. Please, they're going to be wanting you at the council office, being like the director of training. Alrighty. And, it really is that life does suck until it doesn't. But it is fun until it isn't. And, the saying we have around here, some days you're the baby, some days you're the diaper. If it's a diaper day for you, I'm sorry. And have a good day. You too. I'm waiting to see if the rain is done for another bit of photography. Ooh, just after rain pictures. Those are so cool. Should I keep trying to fix this relationship since it was over something petty? You know what, sweetheart? It's sort of like the straw that broke the camel's back. The straw didn't really break the camel's back. It was the tens of thousands of straws before it. And and Loki, my dear, you do whatever you want. My feeling is that it may have run its course. There may not be anything to fix. It may be that you two have evolved in different ways and your spiritual contract is fulfilled. Now, does that mean that there can't be another contract with this person? No, absolutely not. What I would suggest, don't try to fix anything. Respect that other person's right to choose. You can let them know if they ever, want to talk, you'll be there. That you wish them well, and that at least for a while, if they want to come back and talk about it, you're willing to. And, sweetheart, nature abhors a vacuum. And it may be that this was the time for this because there's something much bigger for you to put your energy into. So I wouldn't try to fix anything. And relationships end equally over something petty as well as something major. Comfort yourself, nurture yourself, grieve. I wouldn't keep trying to fix it because it wasn't broken. It just changed. And I wish you every blessing as you go through this. However, next week that person may come back and say, nope, I was wrong. I feel like it's a diaper day for me. Yep. And trust yourself. Trust your gut, Loki. You're very wise. You're very smart. Listen to that voice inside of yourself. You can do this. But as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing broken in the relationship and there's nothing broken in you. You're just evolving. And sometimes that can be very painful. And you've always got us. We will always be here for you. We will always be, there to cheer you on because we know you can do this. It hurts. And then it goes, you'll move past it to whatever. We got you. So, if you want to come in and talk about it, you do that, sweetheart. If you want to talk about it in Discord, go ahead. It's okay. We've got a section for it. So, on that note, and Loki, thank you so much for bringing that in for us. Thank you so much for trusting us with this. Thank you so much for allowing us to be your eye of the storm. You can do this. You are not alone. We're here with you. We're here for you. So, today is like that, I think, a diaper day. It's okay, though. Okay not to be okay. 100%. Absolutely perfect. You can't get this wrong. This little thing called life. So everyone, please take care. Take care of yourselves first. Take care of people around you as your energy allows. If your energy doesn't allow it, novel idea. Let the people around you take care of you. I know it feels uncomfortable, but sometimes it really helps to allow others to take care of us. So, everyone have an amazing, glorious, wonderful day. Please, 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 please remember that you are the only you in all the universe. You're the only you that's ever been and the only you that will ever be. And what that does is it makes you special, it makes you sacred, and most of all, it makes you necessary. Because as the only you in all of the universe would not be the same or complete without you. So everyone, take care. Please have an amazing morning, afternoon, evening, or night. May you walk gently with the world, especially you, Loki. May the world walk gently with you, especially you, Loki. And Cosmic. And, oh gosh. See, when I interrupt myself, gently with you. And may you be balanced. Or I wish you, see, when you're old, if you ruin the pattern that you say something in, it goes completely out of your mind. I wish you balance and I wish you blessings from my heart to yours. So have a good day. Learn something new. I'm proud of you. And I love you. All right. You've had your 1 hour, refueling, rejuvenation. Go out there and take on the rest of this day because it is Friday. Yes. You can take on the other part of Friday. Well, for those of you that this is the middle of the day. And you can do this. And off we go. We'll see you next time. I will see about tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to try to get as much of the clipping done as I can after I get back. And I'm not sure when I'm getting back from rehearsal because lately they've been going long. So we will see you when we see you. And I look forward to the next time we meet. Off to pick the kids up in the afternoon and take them home. Bye.
Emerald Queen, where the gamers unite.